real experiences that you had. But we also know that people have things like auditory hallucinations. I have used substances that led me down the path of visual hallucinations as well. I have also learned to understand how some people can see things without any drugs or alcohol or illusions or anything, just purely out of their own, their brain making mistakes, right? You may want to consider talking to a psychologist about schizophrenia. There are a lot of cases of undiagnosed schizophrenics who see these demons, who see these angels, who see Jesus. And again, I'm not saying or diagnosing, I'm saying I would encourage you to just talk to someone to learn more about the symptoms of schizophrenia and maybe compare that to some experiences that people who believe these supernatural things describe, like demons or shadows leaving your mouth. That is not a normal everyday observation. And you can choose you can choose to believe anything. But to my point earlier, faith is a very poor path to truth. Faith is unreliable. You cannot use faith as a reliable source of epistemology. Again, epistemology being the toolbox that we use to discover truth, to understand what is and what is not true, right? So to build your epistemology, I would highly encourage you to seek out the diagnostic techniques used to determine, for example, schizophrenia, because it's a fascinating endeavor. I am fascinated by psychology.
Yes. Okay. So, let's just say, I'm believing this. And this is a mind thing, okay? What about the people that I pray for and they're manifesting? Demons are talking about their life, exposing them. I did this to his career. He couldn't do this. I attacked this area of his life. This is happening. And the person is no longer conscious of the demon manifesting and speaking. And the moment the demon leaves people, I tell them, why did you say this? And they're like, I never said that. How did you know that? And remember, it's not me, the one that's saying all these things, seeing all these things. It's me just simply praying for the people, doing what the Bible does, and other people manifesting, demons leaving people, people's lives getting better. And should I say, if it was just me, my hallucination and stuff like that, if it was dreaming that I was doing, no, these are things that are happening in physical world where other people are seeing it. And I'm not saying I'm a scam, because I know I'm not a scam. I'm not saying that I'm deceiving people. I'm not. I wouldn't dare supporting a lie, allowing others to believe that it's true. I get what you're saying, but whenever the supernatural becomes a reality and God begins to operate through you in that manner, it is very difficult for someone to try to really understand, especially when you don't believe in it. You know?
Right, and that begs the question: how do you tell the difference between convincing yourself something is true and what is actually true? How do I tell the difference between actually hearing the voice of my grandmother at 10:30 at night and convincing myself that there were no audible words in that hallway that night that I heard my grandmother's voice?
The difference between you and me, I've seen. This is not just in my mind. The experience that I saw, you were talking about it. Now, the fact that I knew that experience wasn't just a hallucination is because the supernatural was backing it up. What was written in the Bible was explaining to me what really happened. And so the thing is this. The thing is this. I get your point, but in this conversation, there's only going to be clash because you don't believe in the supernatural. I do. And I understand schizophrenia. I guarantee, I promise you I do. Because I've had a family member that had it. I had a family that used to have schizophrenia. And so I know they see things. I know because the spiritual world is real. The spiritual world is real. And even what you said, your own experience that you heard your grandma's voice and stuff like that. Do you know that same experience happened to somebody in the Bible? That same exact experience that you had happened to somebody in the Bible.
But that's not impressive to me. Yes, I understand that the Bible contains a lot of true statements. Again, I believe that the Bible is accurate when it talks about cities like Egypt and pharaohs and kings. I think Jesus was a real person, but I cannot just believe. It cannot come down to just your observations and your own vision. These claims have to be substantiated through a more rigorous review process. And that's the beauty of the scientific method, right? We strip out personal anecdotal evidence. We strip out emotional connections to these claims. We examine the hypothesis in a way that can be demonstrated to be more or less true, right? When I have a scientific claim, I need everyone to work earnestly to endeavor to disprove my claim, because I want my claim to be disproven. But if all attempts to disprove it fail, then we can look at the laws and the theories of gravity, physics, mathematics, internally and externally, logical syllogisms, and the world is full of true statements. We have a very high degree of certainty and a lot of good stuff, a lot of good science, right? But we also have these beliefs that are not supported with this same kind of rigorous methodology of determining what is and what is not true. You just believe it because it's your own personal experience. You saw the demons, you saw prayer work, but I have no reason to believe you because you cannot demonstrate these things in a more robust manner.
And I totally understand. That's the problem when it comes to science and the spirituality, is a clash. Is always a clash. You know, why is it a clash? Because if you're to involve God in something, you have to, it takes belief and it takes faith. And that's something that scientists really don't depend and rely on. Scientists want facts, scientists want evidence. But would you believe that there are certain scientific beliefs that really isn't a fact, but they believe that it could be true?
I am running out of time. I need to log off soon, but I want you to ask that again because I didn't really understand the question.
Okay, the question is this. Do you believe that there are certain scientific beliefs that aren't backed up by facts?
Can you give me an example?
Because there's certain scientifics that believe that we evolved as monkeys, and there's scientifics that don't believe that. Certain scientifics believe that the world was created in this way. Others believe that it wasn't. But there's not true facts in everything that science believes.
So I like to accept claims that when we have a high degree of certainty that any claim is justifiably true, right? That's when I accept those claims. Mm-hmm. But if there are other claims, like there are a lot of fantastic, wacky ideas in science, like multiverse. I'm just not on board with the multiverse idea. A lot of string theory stuff. I'm not a physicist. I don't understand that stuff, so I don't rely on it as parts of reality that I can say are true. Right? I need more than just like the physicist talking about. And anyway, the moment to believe a claim as true is after there's enough evidence to warrant that belief in the claim. So I'm asking believers to apply the same amount of skepticism to supernatural claims that have clearly not been demonstrated to be true. And they have only been claims to be true because of personal anecdotal eyewitness testimony, anecdotal evidence. And anecdotal evidence is the weakest form of evidence. And I don't rely on it, just like I don't rely on faith, because as I hope I demonstrated earlier, faith is not reliable. Cannot use faith. It's a purely failed epistemology, because I can believe anything on faith. I can believe that people with green eyes are better than people with blue eyes. I can believe anything on faith, so it's useless. So how do we get to the truth of these supernatural claims? And if we can't rely on science to do it, then you have to have something else. You can't just ask me to believe. You can't ask me to believe you when you make these claims about demons coming out of your mouth, because that doesn't happen.
Okay.
I don't think it happens.
I accept it.
Until
Remember what you said. You said that maybe it was a fart. Maybe it was a fart in your brain because of certain experiences that you always have. And I wasn't against that, and I didn't start debating to you that, hey, you're wrong about that area, But the thing is, abnormal things, supernatural things begin to follow after that, And the thing is this. When you reach a point, when this is the mistake that a lot of people make. When you reach a point that unless there is fact, evidence, natural, physical fact or evidence, I won't believe in God. But the problem is that God is spirit. God is spirit, so it's very difficult to try to find God in a physical thing. So
yeah, but that's just a claim.
That's why faith and belief is very necessary, because the thing is, somebody has to be interested in knowing whether God is real or God is not real. And if you're somebody that doesn't rely on faith, somebody that doesn't rely on believing, it's kind of impossible to ever reach a point in your life where you will meet God. Why? Because God needs somebody to, what? I do believe that there is a God. God, if you hear my voice, reveal yourself to me. And I believe that if that God is alive, I guarantee you, he will reveal himself to you. Without faith, without belief, you cannot reach God. Why? Because we're limiting God in the physical things that we see in this world. God is not in a physical thing. God is spirit and God is alive. So the place where some scientists and spiritual people clash is because spiritual people depend on spiritual things, but scientists doesn't depend on spiritual things. So it's very hard to get to a point of agreement. It just doesn't work like that.
Well, maybe we'll continue another time. I have to log off now, but I have enjoyed the conversation, even though I think we're talking past each other a little bit. Maybe because I'm trying to envision everyone as a partner in the endeavor to understand finding truth, right? We exist in this world together. We should be able to work together to figure out what is true and reject the claims that are not true. So I look forward to continuing. Be well, and until next time, have a good day.
Much.